What's going on, guys? Of course, I'm Brian.
And I'm Hannah.
And we're B&H Reptiles. As you can see, we are not in our snake room. We are here in Georgia, down in Savannah, Georgia, and we are with Philip Collum from pacpythons.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the snake pit.
Yeah, thank you for having us, man. I really appreciate it.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's so cool meeting other people.
Yeah,
I really
We're really
enjoy it.
excited about this.
There's a ton. It's surprising how many people there are in this area specifically. I don't know if y'all realize that, but there's probably 10 breeders that I know within like 20, 30 minutes.
No way.
Really?
Yeah. Tony Thomas is nearby.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. HWE, Hardwired Exotics.
Yeah, I talked to him a couple times. I went live with him once before.
Yep.
And just on Instagram.
Yep. He's
Just
a
for
little
few
further
minutes.
off the highway from here.
Yeah.
From 95, but not too far from here, like 30 minutes.
Right. You still good?
So it's the first time I get to meet Brian.
Yep.
He's excited about some stuff we got going on over here.
So if you guys aren't following Philip in his YouTube channel and Instagram, you need to, because he's got some amazing things that are coming out here shortly with a new rack, a new design. It's going to be awesome. From what I see and what I've seen so far, it's going to be very affordable. Very easy to use with being able to switch racks.
I don't know about very affordable. Affordable.
There you go. Yeah. It'll be a little, it'll be easier.
It's going to be a bang for your buck.
Yes, a lot more bang for your buck, but we're shooting to be cheaper than the other metal frame manufacturers.
Right.
Especially for the hatchling tubs and hatchling racks. Price per tub, our goal is to be significantly less than the others.
Right.
Which is kind of a game changer.
We'll have Philip show you guys real quick what it is, but the setup between going from a hatchling tub to a bigger tub, then to a bigger tub from there, the different sizes, and using one rack to be able to grow your animals up, it will probably make it a lot easier on you and more financially sound.
A lot of people, like y'all are used to, and me too, with my setup, you're used to what is basically a modular tub system. So 2 of these take up the same amount of space as 1 of these. Now my racks are set up a little differently than that, so it doesn't exactly work that way. But that's the gist of it. These are all the same height, they all fit on the same shelf. And there's nothing quite like that in the metal rack industry up to this point. And that's kind of what sparked, building these and realizing that melamine wasn't, the best material for sure to build with.
Over time,
and being inspired to like, well, if I'm not going to build melamine, maybe PVC. And then you look at the cost of PVC, and I'm like, well, for the cost of PVC, I could probably build something out of metal.
Right.
And that just kind of snowballed into, well, why don't we have this in the metal system? And my brain, the way it works, I just kind of picked the problem apart until I figured out how to make it work. So it's the little pieces that are the best of everything, I'll just kind of crammed into one package.
Yeah, it looks really cool. You guys are really going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And so I see you have a lot of hypo.
A lot of hypo. Yeah.
You like hypo? I don't have anything hypo.
Man. Okay, so here's the thing. I was actually hoping you would ask me about hypo. That's funny you say that, because I have a hypo shed, right? This actually came from Hardwired Exotics. This is a Mojave Hypo 100% het pied male. And the interesting thing about hypo that some people don't realize, I'm tearing this up, so I'll just lose it there. One way to be sure that your animal is hypo, even though you could have other genes that hide it or make it harder to notice, you'll lose all of the pattern in the shed. So there's no pattern. You would assume that this was a white snake or a solid colored snake just by looking at that. And he is not solid colored at all. This is a very patterned male, and you don't get any of that pattern carried over to the shed.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So hypo's a
And what's crazy is
one.
I've never seen a visual hypo in person.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, they actually lost their, I don't know, like their.
It's crazy because the
Their
camera
drive.
doesn't even like pick it up like
No.
you see it in person.
It's almost like purple in the head. You get like weird greens and
Yes.
I mean the colors
Different
and
completely different hue.
gorgeous animal. And what I was trying to say is like hypo wasn't as popular for a while.
Mhm.
Like it was really common maybe 10 years ago, really popular, really expensive, and then so many people got into it, and it was one of the big like albino and whatever.
Right.
It was
Where
one
it
of the
just
main recessives that everyone was
skyrocketed.
producing, and there was so much of it that
that's pretty.
there was so much of it that people just kind of lost interest in it.
Man, I wish y'all could see
Look at
what it
his
looks
eyes.
like
Yeah,
in person.
gorgeous. So then let me wash my hands, and I will grab another hypo, one of my big females.
Yes. Check out Philip's stuff. Go follow him. We'll put his links down in the description. But he's got a lot of informative information about Nido, which is very prevalent in ball pythons, or probably the constrictor
Pythons in general.
pythons in general.
Yeah, and there's other species that it can carry over to for sure. So we have a couple just straight hypo females. Let's see. This is one of my bigger ones. These females hopefully will be ready later this year to start breeding. And that male I just showed you will probably end up pairing with some of these. So this is just
wow.
hypo. And that is very, very pretty. So what I assume is happening to cause this color mutation, because of the way the shed loses the pattern, is that I'm thinking that is the majority of what causes the color change. So that just on that outer layer of skin
Right.
that they lose, they have no pigment.
Really?
And that's
so
what's
it's lacking the pigment.
Lacking the pigment in the outer layer of skin, which causes you to basically just see straight through to the lower pigment.
Right. So it's the main layer of skin that carries the pigment. The outer doesn't.
No, I think they both kind of do.
Really?
Yeah.
That's wild.
It seems like it. Because a normal snake would have pigment there and
Right.
pigment below, So, it's interesting.
Yes.
I have a genetic series I was going to start, or that I had started, and I
think that's
haven't gotten back to yet.
I think a lot of people could use it because we're still at
Yeah.
the point where we're trying to figure out what genetics do with certain things.
Yeah.
Because we're so new, we've only been in it exactly a year this month,
Yeah.
where we're still learning what genes look like,
Yep.
either singled out or mixed together.
Yeah. So
And it's not easy.
no, I mean, especially as often as they're adding new genes, I still can't tell a lot about certain genetics. But
It's crazy.
the genes that I really wanted to focus on and like help people understand was like how the actual genetics works, not like the genes that we talk
Right.
about, but the inner workings of what's
Gotcha.
going on. So like lacking tyrosine, which
Mhm.
changes the amount of pigment in the skin and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Let's talk about that rack.
okay. So let me bring it over here and we can start. All right. So Brian reached out on Instagram, I think, right, and was super interested in what I had going on here. And I've had a bunch of people hit me with lots and lots of questions about the system. So I thought I would just give Brian an opportunity to ask me whatever you have in mind about the system. Any critiques, any questions about how it's going to work?
So I like the setup. My big question was, how are your venting? How do you get
Yep.
airflow?
Yeah. A vendor that's going to potentially be producing the flat sections of the hangers. And we have two different vent options here. This is more of a traditional venting style where you just have some small holes that nothing can fit through, and that obviously allows some air to flow through. And then this is a different style that I came up with that is actually easier to manufacture and has the exact same amount of surface area as all of these holes. So you get the same amount of venting with less machine time, and that's going to save costs and save you money. I was worried that this would be flimsy, but this material is so strong that there's
There's
nothing.
no way.
Yeah, no way that's going to
You
be.
can't even.
No, you
move
couldn't
it.
if you tried.
Yeah.
No.
No. I really like that idea and
Yep.
that style.
And then for different setups, you might need less humidity, so you might need more ventilation. and we could add the way that we're currently planning to manufacture this. It would be very easy to order these with any amount of ventilation on them, or none, depending on what you wanted.
Because some, everybody knows every area is different.
Yep, different humidity in different environments. You have you live in a real dry area. You need to trap some of that humidity. You might not want the ventilation.
And like our problem is during the summertime we're so humid, we have to get rid of humidity.
Yep.
Like we're having an issue now where our tubs and our cocoa is soaking.
Yep.
So we have to get rid of it.
Very cool. So this is brand new. I haven't shared this anywhere else, so I'm gonna let y'all post it first.
All right.
Fresh to the world. This is still pending. We're still working on it, but it's very, very close to being ready. And now that I've seen it in person, this just showed up yesterday. I'm very happy with it.
And another thing that I like the most is, like you were saying, you can use one rack.
Yep.
For 3 different sizes.
Yep.
And more.
And more, plus more, right? So initially it'll be the 3.
Right.
Number 1 size, a number 2 size, which would be double the width, and a number 3. And you see here that this is another company's brand or tubs, and they have what I would call a 1, a 1.5, and a 3, which we use for prototyping purposes. But for our purposes, we plan on going much further than that, out to a number 4, a number 6, and possibly a number 12, which would be the full width of the rack. Really, really cool stuff.
That's awesome.
Yep. So.
And you're gonna use square tubing.
So 75% of the frame will be square tubing.
Mm-hmm.
The back cross members are going to be angle iron, and that's so that the hanger can interlock the way it needs to, and still maintain rigidity. That will be welded, so you'll have little pieces that are welded, and then everything else is going to probably hammer together just like an ARS rack or any of those other ones.
That's nice.
And it'll ship in a box.
Awesome.
Which is freaking cool.
What widths and height are you going to be producing?
So
in case people want to know if they don't want to go too big.
The goal, which we're working now to build the full working prototype, but the goal will be to have these 60 inches wide, so I can fit 12 number 1s per shelf, and then up to 6 feet tall. And then you could add additional shelves above that.
Nice.
And then on the small side, we're potentially going to manufacture something almost in this range where you would have 3 or 4 rows, maybe 3 or 4 wide, where you can have some versatility in tub sizes in a small rack system. You can put it on a shelf.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So plenty of options.
Plenty of options, yeah.
Plenty of options.
And I'm manufacturing the frames locally, and because of the fact that the tubs and the hangers are modular, I can literally manufacture this any size I want within the width limits, because you go too wide and it's going to get flimsy. Yeah. The material is only strong to a certain point. But I can make them I don't want to make 100 different sizes, because I don't want to bog down my manufacturing process. But I do plan on offering a variety to appease most people's needs.
But the idea of being able to use one frame with 6 to 8 different size tubs is the part that gets me the most.
Yes.
Because it's so expensive nowadays when your animals are growing, you're buying racks to grow with your animals.
Yep.
When you can just buy one rack and just grow tubs that are
you could replace
$16 a piece.
You could replace one tub at a time and not have to go buy a whole new shelf because one snake got too big or whatever. Yeah. And somebody with a smaller operation could get the full size frame or the half frame, let it grow as you grow, and then even have every single animal from full-size females to hatchlings in one system.
Right.
And it'll fluctuate with you throughout the year.
That's what I
hatchlings. Yeah, it's so cool, man. I love it.
Well,
I feel like I'm bragging about myself, but I really do get like super excited talking about it.
I would too.
Because it's so cool. How
Cool.
it's cool that it works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. And your top is your hanger, and if you, like I saw in your video before, if you need to clean it and you don't want the snake to get away from it, because we all know we have that issue where we have a dirty tub, we don't have an extra one, or whatever. If you need to clean something else or wipe the frame down, you can just take.
I normally just have my snake sitting on top of the, my table or whatever, and like keeping an eye on it, hoping it doesn't crawl away.
Now you can just take the whole tub, the lid, everything, and just move it off to the side.
The other pain from VE or homemade DIY all the way to the metal racks that are on the system. If I wanted to rearrange things, I have to pull out a tub, scrub the shelf, pull out another tub, scrub that shelf, put this snake there, and then put this snake there, and it's a whole lot of shuffling and cleaning.
Right.
Whereas with this, I can literally just take this snake with its tub and hanger, set it aside, and make another spot and stick it there, and vice versa. I don't have to clean anything.
Right. So
You're
one
not
snake-
crossing anything.
Right,
Yeah.
you're not cross-contaminating nothing.
Nothing.
Or having the fear of doing
it can't touch the frame the way the frame's designed.
Mhm.
It can only interact with its own tub and its own hanger.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
That's
So,
crazy.
I appreciate you
Yeah.
So
giving us the
smart.
overall of it.
Such a smarty.
Man, hey, thank you so much for having us.
Definitely, it was awesome. I'm
appreciate
glad y'all stopped by.
Yeah,
This was
thank you
really
so
cool.
much.
This was so fun.
And definitely again at some point.
it. Oh yeah, definitely.
We'll make a trip up to DC at some point. And
Yes.
It's not far from y'all, right?
No, not far. Like you, depending on which way you go, you gotta
Less than
you
an
either get to
hour.
us or it's less than an hour.
Cool. Nice. All right. Well,
Thank
y'all
you,
take it easy. Is it still recording? If it ain't easy, don't take it.